have thought that. Hi, this is Jomo.
Jomo, thank you very much for calling. How are you?
I'm good.
All right, Jomo, I know I don't want to be wrong. Did you at one point represented these teachers?
My office represented teachers. I still have a law office. I still have a law practice. I initiated the case, and I thought there was merit to the case. I still believe there's merit to the case.
Okay. So your office no longer represents these teachers?
My office still represents the teachers.
Your office still represents
But the case has ended. The first instance, Justice Cottle, I thought in a very reasoned opinion, ruled that the teachers did not have a case.
So you hold on.
It is now for the teachers' union who carried the case to decide whether they want to appeal the case.
Well,
I did say on social media yesterday that I do not believe that Justice Cottle's words would be the last word on this matter.
Right.
Because remember, this is a first instant case. They can appeal to the Court of Appeal, and if whichever way the court rules, the losing side may decide to appeal even to the Privy Council.
Right. Do you know if your office, not you, your office will advise the teachers to appeal?
No. Well, we believe, because I looked at the opinion, the teachers in the actual hearing before Justice Cottle were represented by Zita Barnwell and the Grenadian Counsel Ruggles Ferguson.
Yes.
And I have spoken to Mr. Ferguson. He read the opinion, and it is my opinion, it is his opinion, that the opinion is eminently appealable.
Right. What were the strong points of this case for the teachers?
The strong point was that the teachers had an agreement with the government, and the government decided not to follow the agreement, pointing to the Constitution. The arguments that were made in the case was that if we take a broad reading of the Constitution, which Justice Cottle seemed not to wanted to go to, that we could have a reading which says that the Constitution need not be implicated,
right,
in the sense that here you have an agreement which says that the teachers should be placed on leave, the teachers would not be paid, and this would allow them a chance to contest an election. And if they don't win, they would be allowed back into the argument as it relates to Section 26
right,
of the Constitution is that you could not be a public servant and run.
right.
And Justice Cottle took the literal meaning of that. Our arguments, the arguments which were presented, and like I said, I didn't present them, but I'm familiar with the case,
Right.
was that technically, because the teacher was on leave, non-paying leave, the teacher was not collecting a salary, and therefore there could have been an exception to the strict reading of the Constitution.
Right.
That's not a position that Justice Cottle took.
Right. I know, Jomo, and let me get to another side of this discussion, right? I know you did not represent, you personally, but your chambers did not represent the teachers in this matter in court. But couldn't you, because of your closeness to the ULP and because of your closeness to the party who in governance, couldn't you have negotiated this matter outside of going to court?
Well, I've spoken to the ULP lawyers on numerous occasions, and I thought that, you see, here's my position on this, right? I think that the agreement was a very, very good agreement, that it allowed for the development of the polity of St. Vincent and the Red.
Just let us put it into context for
No,
listeners.
but let me
What is this agreement? Please, let's explain.
The agreement essentially says that a teacher who has been a teacher for more than 3 years,
Yes.
this is a section 16 of the agreement,
Yes.
says that a teacher who has been a teacher for more than three years or more could apply for no pay leave to involve him or herself in the political process.
Yes.
And that once they become involved, if they contest unsuccessfully, that the government would be required to re-employ them with the substantially the same position which they had before they had taken the no pay leave.
Right. Okay. Now, and back to my...
But the point is that if you take... It had happened before where teachers had stepped away from the profession and contested and were allowed back into the system. It had happened before. It is not. This is not a novel.
Was it under this administration?
On both administrations, the previous administration and the ULP.
So, okay, so there's a precedent for this. What was wrong beside the fact that these teachers were from the opposition party? Couldn't this matter be negotiated by you, Jomo Thomas?
No,
not with the lawyers, but going straight to the government and negotiate this matter?
Look, as I said to you, I have spoken to the lawyers representing the government, and I have thought that the matter should have been resolved.
Yeah, but not with the lawyers. I'm saying, couldn't you go on to the Prime Minister and negotiate this matter?
I have spoken to people all the way up the chain on the matter.
You spoke to the Prime Minister on this matter?
I have spoken to people all the way up the chain.
But what about the Prime Minister?
You're not listening to me.
Yeah, you said all the way up the chain, but I'm
all
asking specifically about the Prime Minister, Jomo.
I have spoken to people all the way up the chain.
So you're not going to answer to
No, I answered the question.
Okay, Jomo. Okay. Let's not spend time on that. But you spoke to the Prime Minister on this matter, and he refused.
The position was that the matter is a matter that should be tested in court. In fact, I happen to feel that is a very important test case as well. However, the case is resolved, and Justice Cottle has resolved it in a particular way. However, the case is resolved, it settles, in my mind, and in the mind of all persons who are looking, what should be the position as it relates to this clause with the teachers' union or any other such clause that may come up in the future.
Are you happy with this matter?
No, because I believe that things like these don't allow for the proper development of the polity. Take, for example, here's something that happens in St. Vincent, right? If in the elections of December 9th, the ULP had lost, you could have had a situation where security personnel for the Prime Minister, there might have been an invasion of his home, of the Prime Ministerial residence and so on. I believe in the interest of the polity, those things should be changed. So, for example, in the United States, every 4 years on the first Tuesday of November, you have an elections. You may have a change of president. But the president don't leave that residence. Well, a new occupant don't get into the residence until January 20th of the next year. Similarly, in things like these, I do believe that we should have... Look, the public service is, and Justice Cottle makes this point, and the Privy Council made that point in a case, De Freitas versus the Attorney General of Antigua, that the public service is the institution that has some of the most educated people in the country. And if you lock off all of them from public service, political public service, then you're actually doing a disservice to the democracy that you're trying to build. And in that sense, I think that people should be able to opt in and out. And this was the brilliance of, I thought, of the agreement with the teachers' union. And it should have been honored to the letter. So we would not even have had to get to the constitutional point if after the December 13th, I think it was December 13, 2010 elections, if Mr. Thomas, Mr. Daniel, and Mr. Johnson were re-employed. We would not have gotten there, but that we could have set a precedent, and we could have said, look, this is the one that we are going to follow for all times, irrespective of which party is in power. When someone from the public service, well, in this case, the teachers' union, because it's only the teachers' union that had that agreement, if a teacher opted to contest, let's say, for the ULP, if the NDP had been in power, and that teacher loses, then that teacher would have been returned to the classroom. I don't think that there's any politics there. I don't think there's any...
I am in agreement with you. But would you... The collective bargaining agreement is basically null and void, then?
Well, I wouldn't say the collective bargaining agreement is null and void, because there are a number of clauses besides Section 16.1.
Right. Well, as it relates to this matter...
Well, what the court has said, what Justice Cottle has said, is that there is no... The government cannot be forced to do what it agreed to do because it is against the Constitution.
I'm
But
gonna.
I'll tell you this, though. I find it strange, and I've read a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Since I've been practicing law now for more than 20 years. I find it strange because it is always the citizen who uses the Constitution as a shield against what may be perceived to be government excesses. In this case, it is the government
Yes.
that is using the Constitution as a shield
Well,
against an agreement.
I am
which-
glad
which-
you said
which-
that,
which got
which
involved.
makes me move on to my next question, direct question to you, which I hope you'll answer me in a direct way. Do you think this is political victimization?
Well, I think that politics enters into it. I don't believe, for example, that there's really any reason, apart from the fact that these people ran for the opposition, why they were not
So therefore, will
Why
you
they were not
say it is
re-employed?
political victimization?
well, on its face.
Yes, so that's a yes.
It seems to be the case.
Yes. So that's a yes. That's a yes.
I said on its face, it seems to be politics is the only reason that explains it.
Right, and I should maybe though you will interpret that as being political victimization.
I would.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Thomas. I really appreciate this call from you. I really, really do.
Very well.
Thank you very much. That was the Speaker of the House, Jomo Thomas. Ooh, you got from that is I like Jomo.
I do too.
I do like Jomo. Jomo calls
Honest
a spade
man.
a spade.
Honest man.
You can't keep down Jomo.
Can't
The
keep
man-
a good man down.
Yeah. Everyone give it a Jomo.
You can't-
Everyone. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Listen to me. It's now time. You can't, I mean, like, that's Jomo